Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears to some of the things that are taking place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I've done past videos on our public transportation systems throughout many of our major cities and how dangerous and unsafe they have become with all kind of egregious crimes that have taken place, whether it's in St. Louis with the St. Louis Metro bus or Metro Link, the Chicago L, New York subway, and now I'm going to talk about the one in Philadelphia that happened a few weeks ago where 8 teens got shot after school. And it starts off, a third suspect has been arrested in the shooting near Septa bus that injured 8 students. That's right, 8 students. So what do we know thus far? Police said that a third person was arrested in the March 6th shooting at a bus stop in Philadelphia's Burholm neighborhood that left 8 teens, that's right, 8 teens, all students at Northeast High School, injured. 2 other suspects, Anali Buggs and Jamal Tucker, are currently facing several charges, including attempted murder, aggravated assault, weapons offenses, and other offenses, and are being held on more than a $2 million bail. $2 million. Police are investigating if the March 6th shooting was possibly connected to a teen's slaying days earlier along the 6200 block of Ogans Avenue, after court documents claim Buggs was recorded talking about the incident on a prison phone call. A third person was arrested in last week's shooting near Septa bus stop that injured 8 students at Northeast High School in Philadelphia. Officials have identified the suspect as 19-year-old Jamad Carter. U.S. Marshals took Carter into custody on the 12,000 block of Academy Road in Northeast Philadelphia around 3:30 p.m. on that past Tuesday. A fourth suspect is still wanted by law enforcement. Robert Clark of the U.S. Marshals told reporters that they are seeking a 17-year-old man from the Germantown section of the city. Officials gave the man's family an ultimatum to have the suspect turn himself in by tomorrow morning, or his identity will be released to the public, according to Clark. The arrest comes after Anili Buggs and Jamal Tucker were both arrested for their alleged roles in the shooting. Both men are charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, firearm charges, reckless endangerment, and related charges. They are being held again on more than $2 million bail. Tucker, 18, turned himself in on Friday after police obtained a search warrant, said Deputy Commissioner Frank Venor at a news conference on Monday. U.S. Marshals arrested Buggs, 18, early Saturday after another search warrant was issued. When Marshals arrested Buggs, listen to what they found. They found a .40 caliber Glock 22 pistol with an extended magazine that was fully loaded and had laser sights on it, a Glock switch that made it fully automatic. It matched casings found at the scene, police said. So this bozo not only commits this crime, then he takes the gun that he used in this assault, switched the Glock around to fully automatic, which is illegal, and then after he commits the crime, he takes the gun home with him. He is in a world of trouble, and he's 18. Why are you doing this versus going to school and doing something productive in your life? There is something that's lacking in his home. Preliminary hearings are scheduled for both of the suspects. NBC 10 has reached out to the public defender's office for both men, and they declined to comment at the time. Police did specify that the roles of Buggs and Tucker were doing the shooting, only saying that the men were involved. Mayor Sherrill Parker led a group of public officials at the news conference involving the heads of the local FBI, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and Explosives offices to try to assure anxious city residents that they are working to address the spat of transit crime on Septa recently. That's their public transportation system in Philadelphia. Here in St. Louis, we have the Metro bus line, and we have the Metro Link. We will focus on prevention, intervention, and enforcement, said Parker, who took office in January and promised to present her public safety strategies in the coming weeks in an effort to bring lawfulness and some order back to our city. The search continues for the fourth and final suspect in the March shooting. If you are involved, then get smart. Turn yourself in. That's exactly what happened with one person involved, and it's the smart thing for you to do, Krasner said. Law enforcement officers also said all the teens that were injured in the shooting are now in stable condition, including the 16-year-old who was shot 9 times. Man, did he have God on his side. What we know about the mass shooting in Northeast High School. The incident happened around 3 p.m. on a Wednesday as students from Northeast High School were gathered at a bus stop at the intersection of Cotman and Rising Sun avenues in the city's Burholm neighborhood, officials said. At the time, a blue Hyundai Sonata that police said was reported stolen and has been since recovered pulled up across the street, and 3 armed men jumped out and opened fire on the crowd at the bus stop. In the incident, 8 teens, all Northeast High School students, were injured, including one 16-year-old who was shot 9 times. The boy was the only victim in the incident that was listed in critical condition at the time. According to law enforcement officials, 6 other teens and a teen girl were shot as well, and they are listed in stable condition after the incident. NBC News 10 obtained court documents that detail how the police narrowed in on Tucker and Bugs. The same stolen Hyundai used in the shooting was found later that same evening on the 400 block of Fern Street in Olney. Detectives were able to get surveillance of that immediate area and saw the 4 suspects exiting the car 14 minutes after the shooting and entering a home on that block, according to the affidavit of probable cause. From that address, police identified Tucker as a suspect. According to the court documents, investigators determined that the cell phone of Tucker and Bugs traveled in concert to the shooting location and the area where the stolen car was recovered. Police said they do not know if the shooting on March 6 was in retaliation for a shooting earlier in the week that left a 17-year-old boy dead. But the affidavit charging Bugs included a phone conversation with an inmate. The officials claim was Bugs' uncle. The document states, based on the content of this phone call, it is believed that the 2 individuals on this call are discussing the March 2nd homicide at 6200 Ogance Avenue. This was the 4th shooting in a span of 4 days involving the Septa bus transportation system in Philadelphia. The 4th in 4 days. Northeast students returned to school. Seniors and juniors returned to classrooms at Northeast High School that following Monday. In a statement posted to the school's website, the Northeast High principal, Omar Crowder, said the return of students would be staggered. Older students returned on Monday, and 10th graders and 9th graders returned on Tuesday to allow more small group and individualized support. The School District of Philadelphia's Emergency Crisis Response Team of the Office of Prevention and Intervention, including crisis counselors, will be on site to support our students with grief counseling and whatever emotional assistance they need, read Crowder's letter. Students that aren't returning to the school building will be expected to attend classes virtually. Also, Crowder said that this week, students at the school could expect to see an increased police presence in the vicinity of the institution and on and around bus routes near the facility. Please know that the district is working closely with the Philadelphia Police Department every day to keep a close eye on what's going on in our communities and provide extra resources when needed to support the safety of our schools, staff, and students, the letter read. What an incredible story. And this is getting to be nauseating, where we're seeing so many of our young teens, and we're seeing a heavy presence of teens of color, black teens, that are committing these kinds of crimes uh, at school, after school, at the bus stop, near school. What is going on? There is such a diabolical nature and culture that's being presented where over sexualized female teens is being promulgated and promoted and marketed. And we have this over hubris of homicidal uh, ideologies to commit against each other on the male side. Where is all this harm and destruction coming from? And I think at first and foremost, we have to look inside these homes in these urban cities. There is a very high preponderance of this going on in these urban cities where kids are killing kids. You do see stuff in the suburbs. I'm not saying you don't. You have mass school shootings, and it would be perpetrated by people of other races. But there is a huge number of these gun violence and homicides that are taking place with young black teens. And somebody in my vantage has to have a voice about this, and it can't be applied to racism because I am black. I think this is a sad commentary. I did a previous video where two kids had left their school for lunch on a Friday about 2 months ago in the downtown Chicago loop, and five guys got out of a black Suburban and shot and killed them in broad daylight in downtown Chicago. You've had instances in St. Louis where I did a video where two 15-year-old girls had a fight after school, and now one of the girls, the victim, is in critical care in ICU and in a coma due to a fight that happened several weeks ago. Then 4 days later, at another North County school in St. Louis, Jennings Junior High, just when you thought that situation with the two females at Hazelwood East was terrible, that's in North St. Louis, North County. Then 4 days later, you had a junior high black male student who got stabbed after school. Now, if you close your eyes and listen to me tell these stories, these are teenage students in high school that are supposed to be there to help nurture their maturity. School is supposed to be a learning institution. These scenarios sound like they are in prison. You have a kid that's getting shanked, basically, a junior high student, he gets murdered. And 4 days prior to that, you had two female 15-year-olds fighting in the middle of the street. And in both instances, there were over 100 students filming, watching, clapping, making noises for both of these altercations. We have to look in the mirror. This is all a brewing and a festering of the children of the corn. I mean, are we just going to sit by and watch our kids just kill each other? School is supposed to be a learning institution, and it's everything else going on in these high schools. And whether it's the city or the suburbs, it's happening in both places. Gun violence, mental illness, the opioid crisis has no zip code, no border, no restrictions from city to suburb. This is happening everywhere. So anybody that wants to turn a blind eye, black, white, rich or poor, you're making a fatal mistake. And our social, cultural dynamic and our public safety is at a real risk in today's time. And now you have this situation in Philadelphia where 4 or 5, however many suspects, decided they're going to go to a bus stop in broad daylight, the middle of the afternoon, and just shoot 8 to 12 people. All of these kids are between 14 and 19. What happened to the 70s and 80s when kids went to high school and had admirations of going to college, going to the military, going to a trade school? I think it's a big, huge issue with fatherless homes. And I mean fatherless where there is no male role model, uncles, grandfathers, uh, stepfathers, older brothers that are doing the right thing. There is chaos and disruption, not only out in our cities, in our communities, in our states. There is chaos and disruption within many of these homes, and how we change that narrative of reestablishing hope, love, destiny, manifestation, humanity. We got to do this one person at a time, because there are far too many. There has been built in a chasm of chaos, self-destruction, chase the bag by any means necessary, even at the precipice of humiliating my moral and ethical character. Just get it by any way we can, and through the easiest route, which is not what life is all about. School is teaches you several chasms or axioms. One is delayed gratification. Start school in August, you get rewarded with your scores and your grades in December or January. It takes 4 years to get a degree. There is a purpose for that. Very few things in life happen overnight. Winning the lottery is harder than you getting struck by lightning on a clear day. You becoming LeBron James or Beyonce or Taylor Swift, the chances of getting struck by lightning in broad daylight is a much higher than that taking place. So for all these young people putting all their hopes and dreams into athletics, entertainment, OnlyFans, Instagram models, uh, not nurturing your mental, psychological, philosophical aspects of your being, uh, we're going to lose an entire generation of folks. And that does not, and I'm not even mentioning what artificial intelligence, computer information systems that are evolving each and every day, human robotics, repetitive jobs like manufacturing and distribution will not be here 10 years from now because a robot will be doing it. Kids in these urban markets are reading 2 grade levels below their grade. Their math scores in the same situation. Um, we have all the signs that we're going to lose an entire generation of people. And now, as a result of Black Lives Matter and the whole um, push for defunding the police, which is not the thing to do. We need to defund and get rid of bad police officers, racist police officers, but you don't defund the entire department. Then what happens to our entire public safety throughout our cities and our states and our country? We need good, healthy policing. But now it's at the point where police officers are scared to even make a stop, are scared to do anything. And now you have a situation where I guess years ago, many of us thought they over policed. Now they're not doing any of it. And if there's something that takes place, and I use this example all the time, if your house catches on fire, you call a fire department. If you get sick, you go to a hospital and see a doctor. If there is a criminal form of activity taking place, you call the police. Us policing ourselves, we will turn into the cowboys and Indians in the wild, wild west, and there will be complete civil unrest throughout our country. And we will go from a first world country to a third world country if this does not stop. Just look at Haiti. Haiti is being destroyed by its criminality and its unethical and immoral code that's taking place in that small country. And for us to be so arrogant to think that that couldn't happen in the United States, it's happening just as we speak. The homelessness situation is is unbearable. Uh, the opioid crisis is at a premium. We have a huge influx of illegal migrants that are entering. What is the government in the United States of America going to do with all these people that haven't been vetted medically, criminally, don't speak English? Where are we going to place them? We're not even placing the homeless people that have been living here for 40 and 50 years. What are we going to do with the people that just got here? And the crime on our public transportation areas is another big sore spot. The St. Louis Metro bus and the St. Louis Metro Link has had innumerable amount of crimes. Just a couple weeks ago, there was a man that shot at a Metro bus, cut it off, shot at it on the outside, got in the inside of it, and killed two innocent strangers that he didn't know. He had stolen a car and said that the guy on the bus was staring at him for some reason, and he decided to cut the bus off, get on the bus, and kill two individuals. There have been innumerable amount of assaults. A wheelchair-bound judge, got assaulted on the downtown Metro Link a year ago. There have been several murders. The Bolivar stop, the East St. Louis stop. There are tons of robberies. The Chicago L, tons of robberies, tons of assaults. We know about the situation if you follow I did a video on the latest New York subway shooting where two guys got into a fight and a guy pulls out a gun, shoots the other guy in the head. That just recently happened. So if one doesn't have a car, or if you want to go to an event, you live in the suburbs, you want to go to downtown St. Louis to watch a Cardinals game, many people ride the St. Louis Metro Link, but it is becoming an unsafe haven to do that. So there's a big issue. Do police officers need to be on these Metro Links, the subway? Is not enough police officers to do that. But at some point, we have to take responsibility as a community and as an individual to make this place, America, a safer place. Black, white, blue, or green. Public safety has become a real issue. And the difference between life and death in many of our urban teens is so minuscule that you can't see the difference. The callousness for another human, the inhumanity that is taking place. These high school students and young people are more concerned with just death and destruction, over-sexualized marketing versus learning something, becoming a mature, positive, tax-paying contributor to society. It's the children of the corn. We are going to lose an entire generation of folks. We have to continue to talk about this stuff each and every day. It's happening all the time. And so I wanted to bring up this one about the 8 to 10 teenagers that got shot at the Septa bus stop in Philadelphia. They've got 3 or 4 suspects now in jail. And this mayhem and callousness and gun violence must stop. This has been a Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way.